right. Good morning. Sending my kids to school. Lockdown in the traffic. Would need to do this quick video. Right now on education itself, what it means. Education comes from the Latin word educatio, which means to draw from within. The school system is okay, but I think we also need to do more. Like we all know right now, the world is coming to Africa, and Nigeria is a big player in Africa right now. Education should be gotten right. Educatio means to draw from within. I think education should be the major purpose of education should be to train our kids, our children, in such a way that they should be able to think for themselves and execute those things that they've thought of, plans. I think that's the only way to create a progressive society. To draw from within in all aspects of medicine, in all aspects of engineering, technology, science, biology, nature, geography. That's the only way we can make new changes and bring about new changes in society. Governance. There are things we need to start doing right now from within, and not because every other person is doing it. The follow kind of philosophy that we've been practicing in Nigeria should be able to stop by now. Some of the good reasons why we also need to start looking within is, like they say, experience is something you can't buy with money. Over the past years, we've had a major part of our history clustered with the traditional kind of education, and we are all products of that kind of education. But what it has caused for the society is much more harm in terms of competitive spirits, life of competition, where you are trained to accept the fact that only one person should be able to take the first position, the second position, and stuff like that, where you write exams in systems where you are forced to either cram or memorize whatever it is you've read. Those systems are good, but also it's also good that we get to the point where we go practical. Yeah, there are technological schools, there are schools that are much more practical in their resolve, but we can also do better. We can do better in our school system, so much more better than we've always planned for. There are better ways we can train our kids, change the educational system, that's to the government, and have better products. People should learn to trust their instincts, work from within them, learn to listen to that still small voice within them, stimulate their creative parts, and move further in life. That should be our purpose and our general, so we can be able to go in the right direction quicker. Yeah, so that's it. Also, one more thing we also need to do is encourage lots of discipline in creating more time for them, especially with the parents. The earlier our kids key into the understanding of what we do about life, what we do to earn a living, the easier it is for them to connect whatever it is they are taught in school to the realistic world. Back in the school days, there are so many things we learned, memorize, that we actually notice that are not very, very useful for us in this system of being in the streets per se, the streets of survival, the hard knocks. which we found out that were not very useful. It looked like a total waste of time. Yeah, someone might say it helps in brain development and stuff like that, which is okay, but to be easier if you learn from someone else's mistakes. I think that's wisdom. Not to discourage history. History is actually one of the most important lessons our kids should be exposed to. That will help foster unity and stuff like that. But then, history should not mean repeating the same mistakes we've made in the past. We should learn to be able to draw from within. That's more reason why we should strengthen our kids to be able to listen to themselves, discourage competition among their mates, so they don't keep on comparing themselves. There should be we should get over with the traditional system of first, second, third. We should encourage percentage sharing, where everybody is assessed based on a particular percentage, both in our examinations, no matter the school and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good to be competitive, which should be helpful for especially those who are going to sports. The race situation and stuff like that, 100 meters race, 200 meters race, where someone has to actually be the first. But education, we're all the product of this kind of education we've had in Nigeria in the past 30 years or so, or more. Yeah. What it has produced in society, I don't know. Most entrepreneurs that I've met, most people who are actually doing things from within them that I've met over the past years have explained to me that there was a point in time where they came to realize that they can only get something from within them and not what they've been taught over the years, that's how a particular situation should be. That's a very turning point for them. Which they said. So I discovered that most entrepreneurs, I won't say it's luck, they created their luck. They read entirely a different way of survival, probably through books, through having mentors, through authors and stuff like that. You know, it's not actually what they learned while they were in school that is helping them right now, apart from the social aspects of those gatherings where you call schools and stuff like that. For me, these are not schools. There might be social gatherings, but they're not schools. Very few schools are getting it right. Very few schools, both the secondary, both the university and the primary, very few of them in this country. And I think we need to do more, starting with the owners of the schools. Less greed for money. Less greed for money. Do the right things. Government should do a larger part of that responsibility in creating a very good environment for students to learn, and not the learning that we have these days. I mean, real learning where students get to explore and understand what life is all about and how they can key in. If we get these things right, we might be surprised that from 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, we have kids who are already contributing immensely to the growth of this country through their own contributions, because they must have picked up from where the last generation stopped, and then work on carving a niche for themselves and getting the vision of how to move the country forward. Productive societies have told this part. Talk about Japan, talk about China, talk about Canada. At a point, these countries, even Malaysia, Dubai, they were at the point where they had no option than to look within themselves and see how they could produce from within themselves, and not only depending on outside like we do in Nigeria, where we have a dependency mentality, where you have a consumer based mentality, and not a productive based mentality. We need more producers. We have imagine the fact this opportunity we have in this country. We have about 180 million people, much more than in this country. Imagine how much we can produce. Let's say, break it down a bit. Let's say you're a producer. This is very this is the least of the chain I can never get to, and you ask yourself, what do you do with 180 million people in this country to serve them? Not to patronize you, but to serve them. You see, if you have an attitude of service, you would strive to serve whoever it is you meet, and in that process you will meet lots of people you would serve. People will refer people to you because you are actually serving, and you are willing to do such things for no pay. That's the highest point of education, because education makes you understand where you are in the path, where you are in the chain. You know, time is fleeting, it's going. You have no time to waste on irrelevant discussions and stuff like that. You only invest your time in things that will be very productive, because you know you have lots of people to serve. Now imagine you just come out from school and you don't have any livelihood, you don't have anything to do, no, you don't have any finance to start with, and you have a loan with as low as 10k. You can actually start your life with production of soap, liquid soap, and be willing to serve, produce things that you will be able to serve more people. I don't know how to say this, but we need to start from the smallest parts of life. Look within you, see what you can do to improve the society, and not what you can do to get from the society. From within you, see how your characteristics, your personality, your person, your physical person, how you can use whatever it is that God has given to you, your hidden talents, your latent potentials, whatever it is that you know that is within you, that you are extraordinarily good in, which everybody has. There's a place, there's something everybody is good at. See how you can use those things to yourself, and then use this to develop the society. If you're good in singing, sing songs that make sense. Yes, we have lots of artists who are getting it right, but we have more who are getting it wrong. Encouraging things like masturbation and stuff like that shouldn't be the way to go. I don't think it's right. I think if we have a voice, we should strive to use that voice to serve the community, and then make a living while doing that, but not to break that society. Yes, we know sometimes the community could be very bad, and it's easier for someone to say that once you have one bad egg can spoil the whole pack. It's easier to say so, but if you have more good eggs, and let's assume you have more good eggs, let's say a total of 10 eggs are put together, and you have about 9 that are good and 1 that is bad, I don't think the one that is bad can actually spoil the remaining 9 in a day, as long as you keep increasing the good ones. But if you have 1 good one and 9 bad eggs, yes, of course it's possible for that one to be very bad. It's very possible. So I think part of it is that the country or the nation suffers when good men do nothing. Education actually makes us good men. It makes us draw from within how we can serve, using the voice of conscience. Without the voice of conscience, it's easier for you to drift to the negative side. Please, these things we're saying, they're very important, very key. I actually think we should individually, every one of us, work on how we can foster good education, because time is fleeting. We're all going, we are dying. Someday we're going to die. Time is not on our side, and we have to create history. We have to do something that would ring a bell across generations, pass the baton to the next generation, because we can't live forever. What are you doing today? Thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and let me hear from you. I remain Collins Amadi. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.